Welcome to the SIS Student Information Services biweekly Clerk Chit Chat recap for January 9, 2025, which was held at 1 p.m. on that day. This is the list of items that were discussed. As usual, we did our welcome, we talked about the important dates, we discussed the data champions, or should I say, identify the data champions, talked about cycle 2, and that includes progress report distribution, report card preparation, and archiving reports for future retrieval. We talked about Saturday school incident management and the need to also review your SIS task sheets, and closed out the meeting with some resources that are usually available to all of our clerks. The main facilitators were myself, Esther Lewars, and Darren Watsky, the SIS director. We also had various staff from the SIS team who attended the meeting. So Dr. Adnan, Alex, our executive director, Miss Rashonda Jackson, I think possibly Babu was on there as well. So, yes. And here you can see on the screen a picture of the January newsletter. All right, so let's get into it. The important dates. So, as of January 2nd, PowerSchool incident management took effect. Saturday school started on the 4th. Cycle 2 progress reports were to be distributed on the 7th. And on the 9th was when we had our first chit chat for 2025. On January 20th is Dr. MLK Jr. Day, so that will be a holiday for everyone. So central office and all schools will be closed. On the 23rd is our next Clerk Chit Chat at 1 p.m. High school exam dates begin on the 30th through the 31st. And then on January 31st, the cycle ends. Cycle 2 ends on January 31st. So these are the Unified Data Management Champions. These are schools that had no errors on January 8th, with the exception that this list, I excluded the schools that had overlapping enrollment because of the tutoring sections that were created. A lot of schools, depending on when those sections were created, there's some overlapping errors that are showing up because of those. So I excluded that error, that field. And so any school that had overlapping errors, I removed those from the results. And so these are the schools that still had 0 errors after that. So these are in the East Central. We have Ironbone Academy, Michelle Obama Elementary, South Street, Arts High, and Technology High School. In the North, Abington Avenue, First Avenue, Franklin Elementary, McKinley Elementary, Park Elementary, and Salome Urena. And in the Southwest, Chancellor Avenue, Hawthorne Avenue, and Speedway. So as usual, thank you very much for keeping your data clean, because as you know, clean data means clean information and close to perfect decision making if we're relying on our data to make decisions that are related to the students in our school. So cycle 2 report distribution. As mentioned, progress reports should have been sent out on January 7th. Teachers were expected to score the assignments and enter a final grade comment based on how students are doing. Administrators were expected to review what's in the gradebook using those PSEB dev reports, and the clerks were to schedule those reports to go out via document delivery. So based on the submission status, and we're talking about last week when the reports were to go out, about only 20 schools completed this process. And so we want to make sure that all schools, you may have printed the reports, we want to make sure that all schools are completing the document delivery process. And that's where parents will get an electronic copy of their students' report. Now, we've been having some issues with document delivery. And so currently, we have principals and clerks who have access to document delivery. We ask clerks to run the reports. And if you experience any problem, like don't just keep clicking on that envelope, just click it once. Oftentimes, the report will generate and show up in the document delivery portal, even if you don't see it. So we, a member of the SIS team, can go in and finalize those reports for you. So all we ask that you do is run the reports on your end. You do not have to separate them by grade level or anything. When you're doing the document delivery, just select all of your students. You can select grade level greater than -1 to select every student in your grades K and up, and then generate the report card or progress report and click on the envelope. If it goes through, complete the process using the documentation that we have. If nothing happened, if it stalls, if it gives you an error, just let us know so that we can provide you with the proper assistance to make sure that all families get the communication that we have put in place for them to receive. Cycle 2 timeline. So shortly you will get information in teacher talk or principal points about preparing for cycle 2 report cards. So the important dates, as mentioned, on January 30th and 31st are the high school exam dates. No other assignment should be in the gradebook with those dates. Teachers must finalize their gradebooks on February 6th. Then on the 10th of February, SIS will store the grades. After the grades are stored, report cards will go out on February 13th, and that will be our second parent-teacher conference for the year, which means that it will also be a 1 p.m. dismissal for students. So the recommended reports that schools can run: the grades and comments report. These are the PSCB Dev gradebook reports, the grades and comments report, the gradebook out of sync grade. So for Q1, teachers have the ability to make changes in the gradebook. Any changes that are made in the gradebook but have not been updated in historical grades will show as out of sync. So run that report to see if there are any gradebook changes that haven't been updated, or if they were done accidentally. Teachers can revert those changes to make sure that what's showing up in the gradebook is what's showing up in the report card. And then we also want to look at the Unified Data Management Duplicate Grades report and fix those. Delete any duplicate grades that are not supposed to be there. Some schools have students enrolled in certain elective and special courses twice. So if that's the case, that's fine. Otherwise, make sure that you delete any duplicate and blank stored grades, because that will impact, especially as we prepared for the mid-year ranking, which is going to be shortly after grades are stored. Those must be fixed so that we don't impact the calculation of the mid-year ranking. Incident management, as I stated, as of January 2nd, incident management replaced the discipline log process. We provided training in December for the principals for each school to attend. Currently, access is given to the principal along with 2 other designee. That 2 other designee can be another administrator and another instructional staff. The staff members that are not to be assigned access includes anyone who does not have a certificate, is not a certified staff member. They cannot have access to incident management. And our social workers or guidance counselors who operate in a role of advocacy for students should also not be the people that are entering and managing the discipline. All right, so any questions or concerns, please reach out to Darren or Babu in regards to incident management. So Saturday school began for elementary school on January 4th. This is done through the Tutor AZ NJ SLA course. The period is P0 on a Saturday. So we, SIS, created the sections and enrolled all students. If you notice that your sections are too large, you can drop students from the section and create another section. So for example, course A, you can create another section of course B and add those additional students to it. Attendance must be taken on the day off, and attendance comments can be added for any students that are absent. So we want to keep track of our outreach to students who have not attended Saturday school. So there are some reports that are available. So under data and reports, SQL report attendance, there's an attendance, Saturday attendance with comments, as well as Saturday daily attendance. And then on the enrollment, same SQL reports, enrollment, Saturday tutoring, student schedule. You can also get information about students scheduled for Saturday classes as well. And the Spear District field is the field that we're using to track students who have been identified as needing this additional academic support. So if you search PowerSchool for Spear District Field 6, you will see the list of students and be able to, list them or export them. So in addition to the data management reports, we ask schools to continue to track those additional data errors that Dr. Adnan has generated and populated in your SIS task Google Drive folder. So please, if you're trying to search for it, it's usually SIS_team_school abbreviation, your school number and name. And the file name is SIS_task and your school name. All right. So it's in a folder and the file name has SIS task. So you can search your Google Drive for either SIS team or SIS task, and this document will appear. If you have any questions, reach out to Dr. Adnan and he'll be more than happy to assist you. That was the update for the recap. Continue to access our resources from the district's website. You can get to our support website using the employees link and PowerSchool support. As you can see, you'll have access to PowerSchool resources as well as information that our teachers can use to navigate PowerTeacher. The SIS Remedy Force link is also on here. We ask schools to use those links. I noticed that we haven't been using the Remedy Force that much. I've been getting a lot of emails and, we've been processing them, but we want schools to use that Remedy Force link to submit their request. And this is the fabulous team that manages and assists you in the school. My name is Esther Lewars. We have Dr. Edna. We both support the elementary school. Pat and Babu supports the high school. Dan, Hong, and Alex supports the infrastructure and database part of it. And Darren Watsky is our director, who's the brainchild behind all that we do and make sure that we connect with and support other teams within OPET as well as across the district. So thank you. Continue to manage your data. Continue to, reach out to us if you have any question. And we will see you on the next bi-weekly chit chat and recap. Bye-bye.